What is going on, everybody? It is me, Chavez, back with another Prize Picks video for you. We're focusing on the Wednesday, January 25th, 2023 10-game NBA slate. We got 10 games of NBA goodness to break down. However, Prize Picks has not released all the props per usual. Nothing new there. What we do have to work with are as follows. You got the OKC Atlanta game. You got the Toronto Sacramento game. They literally had the Portland and Utah game drop a few minutes ago. So you have those added to the list, but that's it. Nothing past that. I have my eyes on a couple of players and I want to break them down for you and then give you one fantasy score prop. You notice that the fantasy score lines have not been released on Prize Picks, but it was brought to my attention through a comment left on my last video that there are still states out there that restrict certain fantasy props. And so if you happen to live in a state that doesn't play points and assists, PRA, those individual stat lines or prop lines, and you can only play fantasy scores, well, I have a fantasy score for you. Stick around to the end of the video. I'll share that with you, and I think it's a really good one. We just got to wait and see what Prize Picks drops on us, and I think if it falls between a certain number, I think we smash it. So without further ado, let's get started with Mr. Scotty Barnes. I like Scotty Barnes over his point prop. I like him over his rebounds and assists, and not so much on his PRA though. I had that selected for a while because his points or his rebounds and assists hadn't been released. But since then they have been released, and we'll go ahead and take a look at both his points and both his rebounds and assists. So Scotty Barnes and his cohorts are taking on the Sacramento Kings in Sacramento. This is a late start here in Sacramento. It'll be a West Coast game. So Toronto Raptors are traveling to Cali to take on the Kings. Pulling up Scotty Barnes is points for the last 10 games. You can see he's giving you a lot. 18 points over the last 10 games, 20 points over the last 5 games. Back in December, these two teams played and he put up 27 points. I don't like to look at that as a sample size. It's too far back. I like to focus on what's in front of us, and we got plenty of numbers here to dig into. Sacramento currently is ranked number 16th in the NBA versus the small forward position, but let's take a look at what other small forwards or just other forwards have been able to do versus this Sacramento defense. Just on Monday, the Memphis Grizzlies combined for like 1,000 points. Dylan Brooks put up 13. Jaren Jackson put up 19. There's 32. Clark and Zaire Williams and Sante Aldama combined for 23. That's 55 fantasy points between those players. That's in one game, and those guys are all playing in the front court. Tobias Harris and Montrezl Harrell combined for 34 points, and George Niang chipped in with 17 points. He was only propped at 9.5, and he doubled that up. So yeah, you could see that the Sacramento defense can get scored on by forwards, by small and power forwards. Wyndon Gabriel put up 10. 15 for Jeremy Sochin, 21 for Kenyon Martin. Look at what the Rockets did. Jayshawn Tate to Kenyon Martin 21, Terry Eason 7. That's 30 points. That's 30 points between three players who are not starters. They're not all starting they're not all in the starting five for the Houston Rockets. Mo Wagner and Paolo Banchero combined for 29 points. Not Franz, Mo Wagner put up 12. So you can see forwards can feast on this defense. I do like Scotty Barnes to give us at least 17 points versus the Sacramento Kings. And then I mentioned his rebounds and assists. Now, I like this number a lot. You can see that Scotty Barnes, just rebounds and assists, giving you 13 over the last 10, giving you 13 over the last 5, and then back in December put up 17 rebounds and assists versus the Sacramento defense. So check out what he's been doing in that rebounds and assists category. Even when he misses, 12.5 line, he got right there by the hook. 11. He's so close, and then he just, didn't come very close at all against the Boston Celtics. But man, he's hitting this in the other games: 13, 18, 14, 16, and 13. When he hits it hard. So Scotty Barnes rebounds and assists. Scotty Barnes points. I like them both. Jalen Williams. Let's talk about Jalen Williams. PRA. Now, I had the PRA pulled up because rebounds and assists weren't added. Were not added at that time, but since then they have been added. But let's take a look at Jalen Williams. Let me just look at all his props so I can show you what's available as of this video being recorded. So you have Jalen Williams sitting at 12.5 points. You got his rebounds and assists combined at 6.5. If you add all that up, that's 12.5 plus 4 is 16.5 plus 2 is 18.5 plus that 0.5 is 19. So 19 individual, but his PRA is set for 20.5. So juiced a little bit when you select the PRA versus selecting these 3 individual lines. Now, I like his rebounds and assists as well. If we go over to props.cash and check out his rebounds and assists, what am I looking for here? There you go. His rebounds and assists, you can see that much like Scotty Barnes, he is producing solid numbers, giving you 8 to 9 rebounds and assists over the last 10 and 5 games. And I like this a lot. If his line drops tomorrow, but here's the thing. Currently his rebounds and assists are set for 6.5. If his line drops tomorrow at 7.5, no one's picking that line. They're just going to go ahead and pick his PRA. But if his line drops tomorrow and it's 7 or 6.5 or I just can't see it being any higher than 7. I think that's a smash. I really, really do. But we'll see what happens with the lines tomorrow. But as of now, I like his rebounds and assists. His rebounds look good too. Just rebounds by themselves, they also look really good. His assists, I like his rebounds better. I feel like rebounds is a stat that you control. You go get the board. You miss a shot, you go back up and try to tip it back in. Assist, you can set a guy up all day long and he just misses the shot. And potential assists don't really matter to me. And assist opportunities, the guy on the other side still has to make the shot. So the assists still are a little volatile to me. Unless you're just surrounded by, sharpshooters. And then that's a different story. So I like his actual rebound prop. I like his I like to see what his rebound and assist prop is when Prizepicks releases those. I'm not big on his points though. His points aren't as strong as his peripherals, as you can see. But we're not going to worry about that. We're only going to look at his rebounds and assists. We're only going to look at his rebounds. And if you wanted to play his PRA, you could. I don't know. Look at this. You got his points and rebounds set to 17.5, and then you have his points at 12.5, and you have his rebounds at 4. If you just took these 2 lines and put them in different lineups, that's 16.5. He needs to get you 17 total points and rebounds, whereas this one he would have to get you 18. That's a little weird. Same thing with the points and assists. So that total is 15, and this is up to 15.5. So some slight discrepancies there. If you jump on Prizepicks early enough, you can catch these discrepancies and lock them in before they create any sort of changes to them. But as of now, I like his rebound line, and I want to see what his rebounds and assist line is. And then Scotty Barnes as well, his points, and then his rebounds and assists. And I did mention I had a fantasy score for you if you are interested in fantasy scores and aren't able to play the individual lines. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander currently has a 40.5 PRA. I want to share with you what he's been able to do from a fantasy point category over the last 10 games. And all I did is went into his game log and just added up his points over the last 10 games and 5 games, his rebounds over the last 10 and 5 games, and his assists, as well as his blocks and steals, and then subtracted turnovers over that time frame. So over the last 10 games, SGA is giving you 49.6 fantasy points, and over the last 5 games, he's giving you 48.9 fantasy points. So if his fantasy score prop drops, and it has to be over his PRA. And that's why I have this selected. So expect his fantasy score to be over 40.5. It's not going to be below that. But if it's in that 42.5, 43.5, 44 fantasy score, I say you smash that. I say you smash that and move on. Much like we smashed the fantasy score prop for Vooch on Monday when it hadn't been released, but we did the math and saw that he was giving you 50 fantasy points over the last 10 games. And when Prizepicks dropped his fantasy score prop, it was at 39.5. That was way too low. So keep your eye out for SGA's fantasy score prop. And ladies and gents, that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel and checking this video out. Do me a favor and leave me a comment below with your favorite prop of the day. If it hasn't been released yet, let me know. Let me know who you have your eye on. What player you're looking forward to seeing in terms of fantasy props. And also, let me know what you think about my selections. Scotty Barnes over his points and his rebounds and assists. And then Jalen Williams over his rebounds, and assists. Once that drops, we will see what Prizepicks has on the board in terms of those stats. But thank you so much again for stopping by the channel, checking this video out. Truly appreciated the time you take to chill out with me. And until my next video, Chavez is out.